Never seen a lame man walk. Never heard a dumb man talk. Never seen a blind man see. I promise you will change his name. Never seen a cancer dead. Never seen all the poor get fed. Never seen a prisoner set free. I promise you will change his name. Broken heart made whole. Never seen an orphan find a home. Never seen the weak find the strength. I promise you.
And hello. It's time for the Big C and Bigger T podcast. Your boy Bigger T is right here, along as always with Clint Clark, Big C. How you doing, Clint?
Man, I'm fantastic. I couldn't possibly be better. If I was better, it'd be against the law.
For those of y'all watching this on the YouTubes, you see we have a special guest today, our first female guest.
It is. Well, Abby was technically on for a little bit last week.
We had to clean up a little bit, spray a little air freshener.
I feel breathe myself before the podcast.
Because there's normally just guys hanging out here, so we're she's classing up the joint for us.
She is.
Clint,
Go ahead. This is Michelle Donahue. She's the lead admin on Facebook of NCAA Sports Nation. It's a fun group. I used to be a member. I caused too many hijinks and I left. But it's all good. Still a great
Clint out.
No, they've had to kick me out before. I'm a very bad man. Bad man. Bad boy, yeah. So, anyway, this is Michelle Donahue, everybody. I was telling Travis for the podcast, Michelle's a huge Georgia fan. That really, it's going to be a real suspense to see who Michelle picks for the Arkansas Georgia game. I have no idea.
Well, Michelle, thanks for being here. Tell us a little bit about yourself besides what Clint's told us. And that
okay, so my name's Michelle Donahue, huge Georgia fan, born and raised right outside of Atlanta, Georgia.
She's frozen.
Oh no.
And I'm currently living in Florida. I just started a job down here. I mean, excited for football season, excited for some Georgia amped up game against Arkansas. Who would have thunk it? But it's kind of exciting. Excited for Saturday.
We're going to talk about that later, but who really would have thought that this would be such a huge game? Well,
it's crazy to think about.
As you know, we've given you some games we're going to pick today. I want to give an update on our scoring so far. I did have to go back. My buddy Matt Sandifer was on here a couple weeks ago. I looked back at the list, just double checking everything. I did not give him credit for a pick that he had made. So
you're a dirty cheater, Travis Johnson.
In that week, instead of getting 4 correctly, he got 5 correct.
I did math in my head.
Yeah, that's it. So that makes our guest pickers go up. Here's what we had last week. We had, with 4 correct, Mama Sue.
Mama Sue struggling.
Mama Sue struggling a little bit. Following her was Mama Betty. The mamas ain't doing so hot right now.
No, they're
with 6 correct.
Oh wow!
It was a tie between me and Scott.
Oh, okay. Now, who does that make the winner last week? I'm just.
Clint is the winner.
That's right. I picked that North Carolina State over Clemson.
Yeah, you did. You picked that correct. Me and Scott both got Texas San Antonio.
I missed that.
Correct. That helped our score a little bit. So here's the totals so far. Pulling up at the caboose is Mama Betty with 19 correct thus far. Mama Sue with 18 or 19 correct. Mama Betty has 18 correct. Mama Sue has 19 correct. Our guest pickers have gotten a total of 20 correct. I'm in second with 24 correct, and Clint is in first with 26 correct. So here's our picks for this week. We're going all college games this week. So Michelle, we'll start with you each time. Iowa at Maryland. Iowa is a 4-point favorite in that game. Who do you got?
I'm going with Iowa for my girl, Mackenzie Brooks.
All right.
All right. I like Baby Tua. Mama likes Baby Tua. We're both going Maryland.
Both going Maryland.
We'll see how it goes.
Mama Betty says Iowa. And I'm going to also say Iowa on that game. Michigan at Wisconsin. Michigan is just a 1-point favorite. The Khakis got Harbaugh 1 point this week. Michelle, what do you think?
I saw what happened to Wisconsin last week. I was watching the game at a local restaurant and bar, and those Wisconsin fans cleared out pretty quickly. So I'm going to go with Michigan.
Okay.
As much as I dislike Jim Harbaugh, we're going to also go with Michigan, me and Mama Stu.
All right.
Mama Betty said Wisconsin. I'm going to say Michigan also. We have Cincinnati, a 2.5-point favorite at Notre Dame. Touchdown Jesus is a dog to Cincinnati. Who you got?
I'm going with Notre Dame on that one. They looked really good last week.
Okay.
Mama Sue's going to go with Notre Dame. I'm going to go with Cincinnati because why not?
Well, Mama Betty says Cincinnati. I'm going to say Cincinnati also because they're good.
I do like Skyline chili as well.
Yeah. Okay. Spencer Rattler leading the Oklahoma Sooners are a 10.5-point favorite as they take on Kansas State Wildcats. Michelle, what do you think there?
As much as I hate to say it, Boomer Sooner.
Okay.
Mama Sue's going to go Oklahoma. Man, Oklahoma just does not look good, but I still think they get it done.
Agreed.
Yeah, Mama Betty said Oklahoma. I agree with you. Oklahoma doesn't look great, but I still pick on the beat. If Kansas State had, what's their old coach name that was there forever?
Oh,
they still had him.
Snyder.
I might be Snyder. Yeah, I might be more apt to think of him. BC is heading to Clemson. Clemson hadn't looked good, but they're a 15.5-point favorite in this game. Michelle, what do you think?
Not with that quarterback. Not with that quarterback at all. I'm going with Boston College.
Going with BC. All right.
And what's crazy is we're talking about Boston College at Clemson. She just picked Boston College, and I'm not looking at her like a crazy person.
That's right.
That's what this football season. Mama Sue's going Clemson.
It's pretty bad.
I'm gonna go with BC because why not?
Good call.
I'm gonna say Mama Betty said Clemson, and I'm gonna do what Mama says. I'm gonna say Clemson also. I think in the end, they're just gonna have more talent. Auburn at LSU. Finley going back to LSU. Quarterback for Auburn stepped in last week. looked pretty good. Probably going to start against LSU. What do y'all think? LSU's a 3.5-point favorite. Those 3 points are probably just because they're at home. What do you think, Michelle?
I'm going to go with LSU on this one. Auburn didn't impress me last week with that struggle win.
Okay.
Yeah, Mama Sue's going with Auburn. I think the wheels are coming off the bus at the barn. I'm going to go LSU.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think Mama Betty says LSU. I'm saying LSU also. I think even without, if their corner is still out, I still think the thing is about LSU, they look like Tarzan. They've been playing like Jane. At home with a bunch of drunk Cajuns, they may play a little more like Tarzan. We'll see. ASU, Arkansas State, playing Georgia Southern, who Big Brother U of A beat a couple weeks ago. There's, I think it's a 3-point Georgia Southern. I can't read my own writing. Michelle, are you a Georgia Southern fan?
I'm not a Georgia Southern fan, but I'm going to go with the home state team and go with Georgia Southern. Might as well stay on this Georgia kick for the weekend.
Oh yeah, that may be a preview there, huh?
Mama,
what do y'all got?
Mama Sue, maybe in a spoiler, is going with Arkansas State. I'm going with Georgia Southern because I just think Butch is a disaster.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm going with Georgia Southern also. I'm losing faith in. I don't think Butch is working out at ASU. He doesn't seem to get it.
No.
Baylor at Oklahoma State. The Bears versus the Cowboys. 3.5-point favorite, Oklahoma State.
I'm going to go with Baylor on this one.
Okay.
Mama Sue says yippee-ki-yay and goes with Oklahoma State. And I like the Cowboys.
Mama Betty says Baylor because she's a good Baptist. And I'm going to say Oklahoma State. Actually,
you must not be a good Baptist.
I'm not. Mama Betty's actually Assembly of God, but anyway.
Okay.
Ole Miss at Bama. Big game, big spread, 14.5 points, as it probably should be. But can Lane Kiffin score with that potent offense on his old Jedi leader, Nick Saban? What do you think, Michelle?
I'm going to have to go with the Lane train on this one. Kiffin by
All
50.
right.
Oh,
picking the upset. She's going to have upsets on the next two. I can feel it. All right, Clint.
Mama Sue's going with Bama. I don't want to go with Bama, but I'm going to go with Bama. Obviously Bama can't stop the run. We're going to find out what they look like against the pass.
I think it's very possible that Michelle looks like the only intelligent one at the end of this, but I'm still going to pick Bama, and Mama Betty picks Bama.
I really hope she's right on this one, and I hope she's wrong on the next one, but I hope she's right on this.
I think Saban has heard enough of pro Lane Kiffin stuff, and I think he really wants this one. So that's my guess. Here we go. Here's the big one. Game day showing up.
All right, here we go.
Arkansas at Georgia. Last I saw, it was an 18-point Georgia pick. Who you got?
Let me think about this one for a second.
Yeah, I'm on serious pins and needles.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go with the home team. Go Dogs, baby, sick 'em! Whoop whoop whoop! Go Dogs!
Arf.
Okay.
No, Mama Sue's going with Arkansas, and I said I was going to pick them till they lose. Now, that being said, before the season, I said there's 2 unwinnable games on the schedule, Georgia and Alabama, but I don't think these kids know that they're supposed to lose. So I'm going to pick Arkansas till they lose, so I'm going with the Hogs.
I'm making this pick.
Are you playing the fight song? You dirty.
Mama Betty says Arkansas.
No Dogs.
She loves the Hogs. I really thought about picking Georgia, but I can't do it. I could pick Georgia and have a good chance of catching
less disappointed if you did.
I might have a better chance.
I don't think you would.
But I don't care. These are my Hogs. I believe in them. I'm going to pick the Hogs to win a close one by 4 points.
Whew, yeah. Hey, and you know what? At the end of the day, people or maybe a person on this is going to be wrong, but
that's right. Yeah, that's right.
No, but it's exciting that it's a good game that's being taken seriously, that Arkansas has brought it up to the level where they could. We owe a lot to Georgia because we got Pittman, got the strength and conditioning coach. So
we got College Game Day.
We got College game. Yeah. Hey, you know what? You're welcome for us not stinking at football this year, so y'all could get College Game Day. You're welcome.
Yeah, so we can get College Game Day and a noon game at the same time. Gee.
Hey, that's the most Arkansas thing ever.
That's right.
Well, Michelle, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate you for coming in.
This was fun.
All right. Yeah. Well, I'm kicking you out of here now.
Hey, y'all take care. Go Dogs.
Thanks so much, Michelle.
Thanks, guys. Go Dogs.
Well,
let me report her for bullying.
That's right. Yeah.
Every time I remove them, it gives me the option to report them. I'm like, I should report her for bullying me. All right. I really hope she gets that Ole Miss pick right. I really do. I would be giddy.
I do too.
Giddy, but
I do too. Clint, let's talk about first. You got a Holy Snikes moment you wanted to share.
Man. So halftime of this, or I don't remember what quarter it was. Basically, a guy from Ohio State goes to the locker room, just leaves, tweets out, his what he thinks Ohio State should go do.
Yeah,
and basically just quits right there. And look, man, and he's like, he didn't think he's getting the playing time, and he's like, look, as a guy who spent most of his college career at third string, I get it, man. Sometimes you feel like you deserve more playing time than you actually get.
Yeah.
But you can't go tweeting that, because here, the thing was, the kid was probably Ohio State. At the very lowest, he was a high 3-star.
Yeah.
So he's going to be a valuable transfer. He's going to come with that tag as he's that kid now. Hey, that's that kid.
He'll have to go somewhere that's, he'll have to go somewhere that's he don't want to go.
He'll end up at Liberty.
Yeah, that's right. They're big on redemption tours for people, aren't they?
Yeah.
But I saw that, man. That was crazy. I mean, you gotta think it through, man. You gotta count to 10 before you tweet.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to think it through before you respond like that. Before you leave the game and go in the locker room. I mean, that's just dumb.
Yeah.
It's so dumb. And like you said, he scarred himself. I mean, he may, not to say it's an unredeemable offense. He's got a chance. Someone may pick him up in the transfer portal.
Yeah.
But man, it's going to be someone that really needs.
Let's say the kid does end up at Liberty, and he has and it turns out he was right. He should have been playing the entire time. He's the best linebacker in college football. he's like, they're going to talk. I mean, they're like, this guy would be this pick, but he comes with character issues.
Yeah.
They'll
bring that up at the draft.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to haunt him no matter what he does. And now if he's a marginal player who may be a fringe player on the NFL, a team signing you've lost that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I agree with you. That is a holy shnikes. Holy shnikes, dude. Think it through. Yeah. Think it through. Well, Clint, son of a gun, man. We went to Texas Stadium.
Yeah.
The Hogs went down there in Jerry's World and beat Texas A&M. Just beat them.
Yeah.
Let's talk about every week we pick kind of our players of the game. Not necessarily the guys that get the most stats, but just kind of, with, things that, we thought made the biggest impact, the biggest move, just kind of those type of things. Who's yours for this week?
As you know, I sometimes go unconventional.
Yeah,
I do, because I've given it to John Ridgeway. I've given it to the strength and conditioning coach who did come from Georgia, was the assistant at Georgia.
Yeah.
And thank goodness Sam Pittman cherry picked him because he's been awesome.
Yeah.
Ty Clary, unconventional. I'm giving this one to the transfer portal.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because, Travis, what's the biggest difference between this year's team and last year's team, especially on defense?
The line.
The defensive line, all three.
It starts with Ridgeway.
Ridgeway got them out of the transfer portal. Ridgeway transferred up.
Yeah, Ridgeway from a smaller school is a diamond. I mean, a diamond. I mean, I was telling you today, I think he's going to be the best defensive lineman we've seen come out of Arkansas. And I'm saying that realizing that I'm talking about Billy Ray Smith and
Dan Hampton, Trey Flowers.
And Trey Flowers in that statement.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have a pro career that's going to compete against those guys.
Because I could see him becoming a Tony Siragusa type player.
Yeah.
You compared him to Dan Hampton because you think he's more nimble. But this thing,
he's more Siragusa as far as the way he plays. Yeah. But he'll have a better, longer career than Siragusa because Siragusa wasn't in shape.
And
Siragusa was in my kind of shape. Look, he just took up space.
Yeah. Now I feel like Utsey kind of gets. I mean, he's playing good ball.
Yeah,
he's playing good ball, eating up his blocks. But no one's really talking about him because we're all fascinated with Mount Ridgeway, and then Trey Williams. Basically, I don't know who they had a couple different left tackles that played in that game, but he was held on every play.
Yeah,
because they had nightmares. They went and had nightmares about Trey Williams.
Now, if this was an A&M commentator talking on this, they would be quick to remind us that Trey Williams was going against second, third, fourth string tackles most of the game. Okay, he was going against replacement guys. He wasn't going against their best line. However, Trey Williams, that game film is going to make him a lot of money someday. And here's why. If you notice, he stood up a good majority of the snaps. What he was showing them is I can rush from stand-up position. I can be an effective rusher from the stand-up position. Clint, in the NFL, coaches have two types of defenses they run. And they don't do multiples like Barry Odoms does normally. They run a 3-man front or they run a 4-man front, and that's it. And he can play a hands down defensive end. He's already shown he can do that. That's what he's built for. But what he showed us and what he showed any pro scouts in that game was he can play a stand-up outside linebacker. Now, we'll have to see if he can cover the pass.
Right, yeah.
They can get past that. I mean, they can get past that in the league. and they can, he's just got to, because he'd be in a zone most of the time. So he's just got to stand in space.
Because me and you were talking about, Trey Williams and John Roadway made themselves a lot of money this year.
Oh, yeah.
What they put
like you said, let's not forget Utsey. Utsey is a good ball. If you watch him, he's got great leverage. He seals he gets good contain on his side. He's got a lot of, he reminds me a little of Trey Flowers, the way he plays.
In the Auburn game, Grant Morgan broke down how that happened, how that big play happened. I know.
Yeah.
But part of what happened, that other big run, the one against Georgia State, was Utsey had contained. He was the defensive end. And he twisted and went inside. And as soon as he did that, Georgia Southern's quarterback hit that gap. Yeah. So he did make that mistake, and I noticed it, but the amount of people that probably noticed that, are probably,
Yeah, but there also could have been supposed to have been a linebacker or a safety that was supposed to fill in behind him.
Yeah, that very well could be, but I'm just saying I noticed that. That's part
because
of the
that's
reason.
what happened. That's what happened this week on that long run was Grant Morgan went to the wrong gap, and he was supposed to fill in the gap where Spiller ran, and Grant Morgan caused that big long run that Spiller got.
But they're playing such sound defense. I mean, it's
You're
not to be able to nitpick that.
Yeah.
Hey, a couple blown assignments. We've lost a couple big plays.
Yeah,
you'll live. You live with it.
Let me get to my player of the game.
Absolutely.
And we've said him before, and I've talked about him a little bit. KJ Jefferson just made another step forward in this game. He went out with that injury. And Clint, he did everything he could to get back in that game.
Oh, he was killing him to be out.
And when he got back in that game, Clint, you just felt it. You felt it watching TV. He was the leader. He was their guy. The rest of the team said, we're following that guy.
Yeah.
And he gets out there and he gets that run. And he gets that extra 2-3 yards on a bad leg that he had just had to sit down because of. Man, that is a quarterback that's taking that C on his chest seriously. He may not be the best thrower. And to be honest with you, Clint, watching that game, I'm not going to blame KJ for a lot of the missed throws. Our receivers, Kern missing balls.
Yeah.
Our receivers are missing some balls. If they would get half the ones that they miss, he would be a different quarterback stat wise.
Yeah. And the defense has an unquestioned leader, I think.
Oh yeah.
Unquestioned, and that's Grant Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
You wanted KJ to be the leader on the offense.
Yeah.
You wanted him. That's what you want. He became that leader in everyone's eyes.
Yes.
Everyone's eyes.
Yes.
There's no message board that's saying, well, KJ's fat and slow. No, everybody's like, that's our quarterback.
With the week before, or in the Texas game, was it the Texas game that he comes in? Or when was it when he came in and Hornsby couldn't get a first down?
That was
he comes in, gets the first down for him.
I believe that was.
And comes back out. And then this game this week, he comes out and does that and pretty much finishes the game off.
Yeah.
He's told the team, I'm your leader. And the rest of the team believes in him.
Yeah.
And therefore it makes me as a fan, I believe in him now. Now, Clint, I want you to think about something. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say 2 years ago.
Right.
We're doing one of these.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I tell you, Clint, in 2 years, in the 2021 season, and what week is this? Week 5 of college football.
5, going to week 5.
Okay, week 5. Ole Miss is playing Alabama.
Okay.
and it's going to be a big game.
All right.
Auburn's going to go down to LSU, Clint, and that's going to be a big game. And Arkansas is playing Georgia.
Right.
And Clint, that may be the biggest game of them all.
I would have called you a crazy person.
In fact, Clint, guess what?
What's that?
College Game Day is picking our game.
I'd be like, no.
They're picking our game over. Lane Kiffin is going to be. Oh, by the way, Lane Kiffin's at Ole Miss, Clint.
Oh,
and we got an offensive line coach as our head coach.
I would have been like, what? I figure by now Chad Morris have at least 67% of his playbook in.
That's right. Yeah, and we would have hit the left lane at least
hammer
once
down
just to see what it was look like. Over there. Yeah,
okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was.
I'm trying to forget it, but I can't. It hurts.
But you would have thought I was crazy.
I would have.
But Clint, that's where we are.
Yeah.
Those are three really going to be pretty good games. Now let's talk about the LSU Auburn game. It's
right.
Not going to be as big. It became a little bigger last week because Finley, the quarterback that transferred, you're talking about the transfer portal, it sets up games like we're going to have down in Death Valley this week, where a quarterback transfers from one school to another, and then he comes back as the starter for Auburn against his old team that said, yeah, you're not going to have a chance to start here.
So this feels to me, the LSU game, where if you're writing a story, Finley's going to go out there and play valiantly. He's going to kind of win, and the game's going to be tight, maybe going into the third quarter. Then Finley's going to roll an ankle.
Yeah.
And then you got to go to Bo Nix.
Yeah.
And then what Bo Nix does from there, you can find out, and you'll find out if Bo Nix is the guy or not, how he responds to being bent, how he responds to getting back in there. Now, none of that happen, but if you're writing a Hollywood story, that's the way it would go. Does Finley, maybe Finley struggles at LSU and the moment's too big for him.
Yeah. Well, then, but both those teams are struggling right now, so it's not as big of a game as we would have thought it would be a couple years ago.
No, it's not.
A couple years ago, they had Joe Burrow and all that crew, and LSU's looking like they're Ed Orgeron's the second coming of Bear Bryant. He's looking like a genius. So then we got Ole Miss with, the young Padawan Lane Kiffin going in against the Jedi Master Nick Saban, his former pupil. And a lot of people are giving Lane Kiffin a big chance here because he saw that defense for 3 years.
He did.
And knows how to score against it. But isn't that intriguing? And something that is in common with the Arkansas-Georgia game is, even though our coach was, a great coach, Pittman was a great coach before he went to Georgia. He credits Georgia's coach's name,
Kirby Smart.
It's Kirby Smart, for teaching him a ton about football. Okay,
right,
so I heard him asked, who his influences were, and Kirby Smart's one of the top influences, he'll say. So you have two of these guys that both credit these other coaches for teaching them a ton. It's interesting, isn't it, Clint, to see those kind of the students take on the teaching.
It is, and it's the thing. But the thing is, it's got two different feels to it. like on one hand, you know, you can look at Lane Kiffin and hear him tell you that man has one of the biggest egos in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, he really does. His ego is huge.
Yeah.
And I think he's also, he loves picking at you.
Oh yeah.
And he trolls Nick Saban hysterically.
Yeah.
A lot of the things he said and he's done. I think he the way he just, and so I think Nick Saban, he hates Lane Kiffin. I think he hates it. He's one of them deals he put up with him for business purposes. And as soon as it was no longer good for business purposes, he wanted him out of there. And I think Lane's got such a big ego.
Sure.
Yeah. And Lane's got such a big ego. That time that Nick Saban chewed him out on the sidelines publicly, I guarantee you Lane Kiffin went back to the locker room and probably punched a locker.
Yeah.
Because he was so mad and he wanted to yell back, but he kept his cool.
Yeah.
So, and I think you got in Pittman, you've got a guy that knows a lot about football, and then he kind of saw how Smart did some things, and obviously liked him. And I keep bringing up Jamil Walker, getting him, but he saw like, hey, this guy knows how to run the strength and conditioning program the way the guy that Kirby hired knows how to do it.
You know, this week they asked Pittman in his press conference, how hard was it for him to talk Walker and Fountain into coming over with him to Arkansas? And he said, well, Walker wasn't difficult at all. He said, because he was actually the assistant strength and conditioning coach.
Yeah, he's getting a promotion.
So he's getting a promotion. He's getting better pay. He said, so that one was pretty easy. He said Fountain was a little more difficult because it's the same position. But I think their friendship ended up winning out. Yeah. Of course, now a lot of people, you know, Fountain gets a lot of flack, and to be honest with you, rightfully so. I mean, up until this year, our special teams, you know, I heard.
And I kind of give him an excuse for that because, you know, a lot of times I think COVID had a lot to do with that. I really do, especially with the tackling players here and out. I really do. I blame a lot of that on COVID. This year, I think we've had a couple gaffes, but for the most part, our special teams has been pretty good.
I think someone brought up a question today that on Drive Time that I think is a good question. Is why have we not been able to find, why on this team have we not been able to find a punt returner out of the bunch? Out of the group of people we have, that we don't have someone that's solid, that can catch the ball and be a threat to run it all the way. We don't have that. You know, we tried Brooks back there, but you tell me a strong safety is our best, or nickelback, or strong safety is our best.
Well, and then you've got Brody, and I think that's all he does. But I mean, it's the safest way to not worry about turning the ball over, giving the ball to your offense. Yeah. It's not as explosive and it's not as sexy. But I think if you ask the guy, are you going to take somebody that you know is going to catch it and field it cleanly every time, or somebody that's going to fumble it 1 time in 10, but he's going to take 1 in 20 to the house? Yeah, you're going to take the guy that's going to do this and catch it every time. And I think that's probably what it is they're looking more for maybe a stability there than a playmaker there. I don't know if that answers the question, and I could be totally wrong. They'd be like, well, we ain't got anybody on campus.
I just wonder, I don't know. My mind goes to like TJ Hammond, that Ogilvy or whatever kid that's like 175-pound running back.
I think if AJ Green
supposed to have stupid speed.
Put Malik and AJ Green back there. Just,
yeah.
You know, I mean, Yeah, I get it. Especially, I think. Well, you've seen it. I think AJ Green, and I've seen Rocket back there on kickoff returns. So if they trust him to do that, I don't know. You figure they would have been the guy to do it in high school.
Bishop's supposed to be one of the fastest guys on the team.
Yeah. So
I don't know. In that long run, he was the only one making up in pursuit of Spiller the other day. He was the only one making up space.
Yeah.
All the rest of the D-backs were getting left.
So okay, now me and you both picked Arkansas.
Yeah.
We did. We both. What scares you the most about this game?
The same thing that scares me every game is, will they be able to exploit our weaknesses on defense, which is, to me, speed over the middle. And will our defense, our defense can stop them from doing that. I think in a way, I think Texas tried and our defense stopped them from it. But I worry more, to be honest with you, I worry more about that with Bama than I do with them, because right now a lot of their receivers are hurt. Now, some of them are, I think, maybe going to come back. I don't know. I haven't heard for sure. But, that's one of the reasons Georgia hadn't played so well, is because they've had a lot of receivers hurt. That's why their tight end's one of their leading receivers right now. But even the tight end, who are we going to have guard the tight end? Grant Morgan is not quick enough to guard a fast.
Well, I tell you where I think where this game's going to be won. There's the two key players for this game. The two guys that I think we're going to win or lose with, and that's John Ridgeway and Ricky Stromberg.
Yeah.
The thing is Ridgeway has owned every center he's went against. He's owned Texas's center. That dude looked like he was on skates.
Yeah.
He's owned Georgia Southern center. He's owned every center in the game. Now, I'm going to tell you, he may be the best nose guard in the SEC, but he may be number 2 behind Georgia's guy. Yeah. Like 2 of the best. So you got to think Georgia centers practice against that guy all the time. That nose tackles practice against their center all the time.
Yeah.
So it's going to be fun to see those two battles.
Yeah.
It really is. If you're a fan of offensive line play, just zoom in on 99 and 51 at Arkansas and watch them go at it.
Yeah.
It's going to be that's going to be a battle. Who wins the push right there?
Yeah.
And if it's a stalemate, who can get to the outside?
Yeah.
I mean, Georgia's
as good as Georgia's center is. I don't think the rest of their offensive line is as good as it's been in the past. And I don't think any center or guard in the SEC can take Ridgeway by themselves.
No, he's commanding.
They're going to have to get help. They're going to have to get chips. They're going to have to get double teams. They're going to have to get help to get him to stop him from collapsing the pocket.
But Georgia's defense does scare me because they have their front 7 is maybe the best in the country.
Yeah.
Now, we as fans get to think big picture, and I love that the team doesn't. It seems like this team's one game at a time. Mm. Do you realize, Travis, if for some reason Ole Miss beats Bama and we beat Georgia?
Oh my gosh.
The biggest game of the college football season is no longer Clemson versus Georgia.
No.
It becomes Arkansas versus Ole Miss.
Yep.
And it's like,
Yeah.
I mean,
we may just jinx them by bringing that up.
yeah. Well, you know what? I don't think we jinxed them for bringing it up because I think we've all thought about it.
Yeah.
I think there's not a person, and you can't tell me that Lane Kiffin and Sam Pittman haven't thought about it.
Oh yeah.
KJ Jefferson, Matt Corral, they've thought about it. I mean, everyone's thought about it.
Oh, that's
You know,
yeah. If both of them, if both Arkansas and Ole Miss can pull off upsets, that next week. And the thing is, Clint, that's it. It's the next week.
yeah.
You know, I heard someone on the radio said, you know, they were like, yeah, we're going to beat Georgia and then we're going to beat Ole Miss because they're going to be beat up after playing Bama. Hello, we're going to be beat up after playing Georgia.
Yeah. And
this is going to be a dogfight, man.
Yeah. And that's the one thing, too, that you got to give advantage. You got Georgia, too, is they played Vanderbilt last week. And I think entering the third quarter, you were playing left tackle and I was playing center.
Yeah.
Just go out there and snap it. I don't care.
And we were playing it while eating nachos.
I'm like Stetson Bennett, you're ready to run for your life, son.
Yeah.
Yeah. You scared because you about to be.
What was it? Buckner Olay blocks.
Yeah.
Coach Smith used to call them Olay blocks. Olay.
But
Olay.
This is crazy to think about that game. I know we could talk about this next week, but Lane Kiffin was almost the coach at Arkansas.
Yeah.
I don't think Lane Kiffin's doing at Arkansas what he does at Ole Miss. I think Lane Kiffin is the perfect coach for Ole Miss.
Yeah.
I really do. I think they got that. And I tell you what, if there was a better person for the Arkansas job than Sam Pittman.
Yeah, I don't know him. Yeah.
I mean, he's got it. Whatever it is, he's got it. It's a shame it took someone to figure it out when he was 59 years old. It really
yeah, the thing is, you know, we got some coaches like that in our history, you know, because I think we could have said the same thing about Houston Nutt.
Yeah.
You know, and Ken Hatfield, I mean, they look at him and the guy's still here. And Frank Broyles.
Yeah. And I don't think you're going to have the issues with like Pittman letting it come off the rails like Nutt did. No. I think Pittman gets that you got to evolve with the game because that's part of what got Houston Nutt was that he wouldn't evolve with the game. And I don't think you'll see Sam Pittman putting up with the drama that Houston Nutt did. Sam Pittman's top of me like, no, this is going to stop right now.
Well, the only thing is, Clint, look, the truth of the matter is Sam Pittman is another, like Patrick talked about, it's another form of Ed Orgeron.
Yeah.
And we saw what happened to Ed Orgeron when he lost his stud coordinators.
Mm-hmm.
What it's going to be is how Sam Pittman replaces those.
Yeah.
Now, I do feel like Sam Pittman has built he's built more of a camaraderie and to where he is seen more as the leader. Like, I think even like he has to deflect the praise to Odom and to Briles a lot. And people still brag about them. Whereas with Orgeron, people were saying, this is Brady. This is Brady. Brady's doing this on this offense. Brady, why is Joe Burrow different? Brady, you know, the offensive coordinator, the quarterback coach. I don't think you're seeing that as much. I think, I think Odom, they're going to get their chances for head jobs.
They are, and there's rumors that Odom really doesn't want to be a head coach.
I think he wants to, but
but it's got to be the right job. I do think, you know, as I was looking on the college football hot list, and you see like Houston may be open, Baylor may be open. Not Baylor, but I can't remember if Baylor. I don't think Baylor was on the list. But you see Rice. Rice was the one I was really thinking of. Like Rice may be open. Yeah, you got to think that would be that'd be an attractive job to him.
I think he's going to go somewhere bigger than that.
Yeah, I'm talking about.
I think he'll have a chance with what he's doing with this defense.
I was talking about Browse, Travis.
Oh, with Browse, yeah.
I think he'd be a perfect fit for a school in Texas, a smaller school in Texas.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, Odom, if he leaves, it's going to be somewhere, you know, Power 5.
Because he wasn't bad at Missouri. No, it's just.
And they were 6-6 on the year of a bowl ban, and they lost Kelly Bryant for the year.
Yeah.
It was some.
Yeah.
Look, I'm happy we won 3 games last year. 3-7 after what was a disaster of the Chad Morris era. And by the way, if for those of you that can do math at home, with Sam Pittman's next win, which is all but a guarantee to at least be at UAPB, he will have doubled Chad Morris's win total in 2 years.
Yeah.
But that's it's like that still boggles my mind.
Yeah. That's what it should.
Well, because the thing is, Chad Morris came in, basically said to the kids, "We're here because you suck."
Yeah.
And Sam Pittman came in and says, "Look, I'm riding with you guys." He goes,
"What has he said?
Choose me. I chose you."
And what has he said over and over?
It's your team.
We have the guys in this room.
Yeah, we do.
We have the guys in this room to be able to do this.
I think
he's proven himself right.
Yeah,
he's proven himself right.
Okay, part of the strength of this team: Hayden Henry, Grant Morgan, Bumper Pool. Chad Morris had all those guys. Yeah. K.J. Jefferson was on campus. Stromberg was on campus. The 2 tackles were on campus. Pittman didn't bring any of those guys in. Blake Kern on campus.
Yeah.
Hudson Henry on campus.
Yeah.
These guys were there.
Yeah.
And Pittman's got that's why I give us a chance at Georgia. Is because these guys don't understand that we are supposed to lose. We're Arkansas. We're going to come punch you in the mouth. And it's going to be a fight. These are Alabama's physical, Georgia's physical, and we're physical. This is 2 of the, I think, top 3 most physical teams.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest difference, is just how physical we are.
Oh, yeah.
You can just tell there's a physicality and a violence to the way this team plays.
Yeah.
There's a physicality and a violence to the way Georgia plays.
That's what someone was saying. I think it's someone on the radio or something the other day said, watch the first running play of each game and see how many Razorbacks are in the picture. How many of them are pursuing to the ball and in on the play. And that tells you how bad this defense and how bad this team wants to win.
Yeah.
Because they're smothering it. And
they definitely you can tell that they've done the pursuit drill once or twice.
Yeah. And they, you know, they are representing, you know, now look, if I'm an outsider looking in, I can say, look, Kirby Smart said this. He said, look, with this COVID stuff and the years we've had with that, he said, there's going to be SEC teams that are going to be senior heavy that are going to make a difference. And he said, that's what you're seeing with Arkansas. Because we do have more of these super seniors that have stayed around, you know. Grant Morgan wasn't going to make a ton in the pros.
No, he would have been a special teams guy.
He's probably going to make more money with whatever degree he's finishing up by staying in school. And, especially if he goes on to the medical field like he's talking about.
Both tackles, Myron Cunningham,
Dalton
Wagner. They're both supers, the seniors. Blake Kern, which everybody highlights his drop. I mean, his 2 drops. And then he is blocking his butt off, y'all. Let off Big Kern.
Yeah.
I mean, he's and trust me, if he wasn't the best we had out there, he wouldn't be out there.
The thing I'm wondering, Clint, is Trey freaking Knox.
Yeah.
What's happened? They moved him to tight end, and he's not doing anything.
Let me tell you something. Let's talk about Trey Knox for a second. This is the Robert Johnson type guy to me. Yeah. Trey Knox looked like an all-world wide receiver under Chad Morris.
Yeah.
How anybody looks all-world anything under Chad Morris, I don't get it. Yeah. He has a terrible year last year. He has so many drops. It is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you can't, it's like that guy on The Replacements where they keep throwing him the ball and he can't drop it. Then they put stickum all over his hands. Yeah. That's the way Trey Knox looked. Trey Knox, he could assault and whine, but you're behind Trey Knox. You're behind Burks, Warner, Tyson Moore's stepped up. People are saying Keyshawn Jackson, Warren Thompson. You're buried. Hey, you know what? I can't help you here, but I can go help you here. He's learning to block. He's doing what he can to help the ball team. He didn't run to the transfer portal. They brought in other good players. Like, no, I can help you here. There's a lack here. Johnson, same thing. He played at tight end a little bit. They're doing what they got to do to help the ball club.
Well, here's the thing, Clint. Here's my bold prediction. In one of these big games coming up, could be this week, they're going to get him loose on a linebacker or a safety.
Yeah.
And he's going to make some big plays. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but he's lining up. He's lining up at tight end. He's lining up in that H-back type.
Yeah.
And so he's inside. He's right on the line. Right now, he's doing mostly blocking. He's going out on some routes here and there. They're not really looking for him right now. But a guy that athletic, if you can get him on a slow-footed linebacker,
right?
Come on, man.
And you got to think Loggins had something to do with that.
Yeah.
Loggins is probably looking over there at the wide receiver. Well, Trey Knox is pretty big.
Yeah.
Then he probably got Loggins. He probably got Trey Knox aside. Like, hey, man, I coached in the NFL a long time. You're a guy in your frame. I've seen this guy, Tony Gonzalez. I ran, like, you have a build just like him,
Yeah.
He probably, a little bit.
Yeah.
Because, no, you're right. I mean, because people are going to forget about, like, number 7 here used to be like a all SEC freshman wide receiver.
Oh, poor guy. They've had to move him.
Yeah. But
there we go.
Yeah.
And I think they have forgotten. They're not watching game film on him.
No.
They're not watching those first few games his freshman year. They're not watching those. They don't know what he can do. And if somehow he can remember and go out there and do it, especially get some confidence against a slower player, hey, that could be what is our team missing on offense more than anything? Pass catching tight end.
Yeah.
And a second receiver, probably, but
I don't think we've got just one second receiver. I think we got a bunch of second receivers.
I think you're right. I think Morris is doing a good job. I think Thompson. I think Devion Warren.
Yeah.
I think they're showing us some good things, and I think they'll keep doing it. Well, Clint, man, it's about time. We probably need to wrap this thing up. man, once again, dude, it is so exciting to be a Hog fan right now.
Yeah. And man, so and even if we lose to Georgia, it's all right. You know, this team's come a long way, but I think we could, there's a path to victory. And really, and I hate that I mentioned this, but when did you feel that Georgia game last year? We left that game feeling like, all right, this team will play hard. I'm thinking Bumper Pool set the tone when he laid out Georgia's quarterback.
Yeah.
And he set the tone. And like,
we played against what then we knew was a better team, and we didn't give up. We played hard. And I think you're right, man. I think, you know, this is going to be a game. It's going to be a game and a half. And I'm excited for it, baby.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I hope y'all are too. Let's get excited for these Hogs. Let's root them on. Whatever happens, happens. But hey, baby, here we go. It's game time, fool. Listen, like, share this podcast. Let people know about it. We need you to let people know about it. We need your help there. Please, please, please. I'm begging. I ain't too proud to beg. Here we go. We're begging. You know, let people know. Share, like, put it on your Facebook page. Put it on your Twitter, whatever. Just tell them, hey, look at these idiots. And we don't care. We can take it. Don't forget our boy Sean Michelle. Thankful for his music. Don't ever give up, because we're Razorback.
Ever.
Oh, Clint.
Whoopee.
Woo freaking pig. Turn that jukebox on.
Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Listen, that's why I sweat when I work. My hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no harvest till I hurt. Crying your kingdom come. Listen, I wake up in the morning, I bow my head to pray. Mama told me if I don't, ain't nothing gonna change. These prayers breaking up hard ground so I can sow the seed. Ain't afraid of no aches and pain. Lord knows I gotta follow his lead. That's why I sweat when I work. My hands get